Exclusive contracted novel by Feilu Novel Network. Starting from the abolition of the deaf old lady in the courtyard. Chen, a person of the same name who was humiliated and died in anger by all the beasts in the courtyard. Damaged the limbs of the deaf old lady who he hated the most for his predecessor, obtained a reward of golden fingers, and bound a shared life space with himself. From now on, we will bless the living space with vitality, and the living space will feed us back. Protect your wife and daughter, in order to live a better life, and start fighting against animals one after another. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. Chapter 001. Breaking the Limbs of a Deaf Old Lady. You are listening at novelfull.audio. A cold room, a hard bed, looking at the poor yet very clean and warm home with the lights. A fierce aura slowly rose in Chen's heart. I got out of bed and felt very weak. Grasping the steamed buns on the broken table, I picked up the old pickled vegetables, drank cold water, and swallowed the throat-pounding steamed buns in a few bites. I gradually gained strength on my body. Find 2 pieces of rags, tie them up to your 2 torn shoes, and put a pair of frequently worn shoes on your waist. Put on gloves and take out all the bits and pieces from your body. I carefully checked everything. Pick up the polished iron blade and carefully inspect it. Everything was ready, and I found an old and tattered scarf that couldn't even tell the color. It wrapped around my head, leaving only 2 eyes, and I began to lie by the door and look outside. The courtyard was very quiet, and Chen stared fixedly at several residents in the backyard. His heart was pounding and he was very nervous. The fierce anger in his heart forced him to hold on, and he had to vent his anger. Gently open the door and then close it. Walk towards the left resident's ear room and hide in the corner of the left resident's ear room wall. Continuing to observe the situation in the hospital, I also began to take deep breaths to relieve the tension in my heart. My heart was pounding and my mouth was dry and a bit bitter. Remembering the traces and footprints of one's own movement, I reached for the door of my neighbor. Seeing that there was no movement among the residents, they took out their own iron knives. While listening to the movements in the room, he inserted a metal knife into the crack in the door. My heart became even more nervous, my mouth became even drier and more bitter. My heart was pounding, and I felt like I was about to jump out of my mouth. But thinking about the experiences of his predecessor's wife and daughter and himself, he became angry and eliminated all negative fears. If he didn't do this, he wouldn't be able to survive in this courtyard. If he didn't do it, he might die again, and he might even be able to go back. The blade gently stirred the latch inside and finally opened. I'm getting closer to the target, and a strong resentment fills my mind. Slowly touch towards the bedside. Who is it? Is it a pillar? A voice of aging came over. Chen woke up when he saw the old thing. Rushing straight to the bed, the blurry figure tightly blocked her mouth, and a fist kept pounding her head. The old thing doesn't move anymore, my wrist touches the mold, my nose is still breathing. Chen touched her pillowcase and forcefully stuffed it into her mouth. The old thing moved again and made a whimpering sound. It seems like he was pretending to be dead just now. The old thing is really a thief. Fill your mouth with old things. Roll her over again, pull her hands back to her back, and then cover her head with a blanket. With the blanket, the sound becomes quieter and inaudible, just like the sound of an old man farting under the blanket. Listen, there's no movement outside. Chen has started to get down to business. One foot was stepping on the old lady, the other foot was stepping on her arm, and both hands were forcefully breaking. Click. With a crisp sound. The old thing moved, and Chen felt a strong sense of comfort in his heart. Then, continuing, the second arm clicked and the old thing moved again. Flip over the old thing. Maybe it moved both of her arms, and then it moved again. It's good if you don't die, just torture the old man without dying. I hope she lives well. Squeak. The sound of leg bones breaking was a bit loud. The old man was convulsing and trembling all over, as if enduring intense pain. Then it didn't move again. The second click came, and the old thing moved again and began to twitch. And then it didn't move again. My limbs are all broken in reverse from the middle, let's see how you connect them. It's better not to die. Letting you live is torture. Drag away the old thing, open the bedding, touch the middle cover, and open it. The old thing's memories are hidden here. Touch a small box. And then he was carried out. Then cover the bed with a cover and restore it to its original state, dragging the old thing to the middle. Let you falsely accuse your ex-daughter of stealing from you, and now I'll take everything from you. How can you falsely accuse others? Then Li Chen began to clean up his own traces in the room, and his nervous heart slowly calmed down. Check your equipment several times to see if it is lost. Finally, I checked twice and found the broom inside the house, holding the small box. Step back and sweep all your footprints. Arrived at the door and paused to observe the outside from the crack of the door. Seeing no movement, he came out and gently closed the door. While clearing the marks with a broom, walked towards the left ear room. Then I had to waste a lot of energy to climb up the back wall, my body is too weak. I cleaned up the traces on the back wall and then went down the courtyard wall. Behind the courtyard is a wasteland, littered with grass and garbage. Pick up the thatch and walk, cleaning up the traces as you walk. According to my memory, I found the small hole I dug in my childhood. I took a look around and it seems like no one has been here for a long time. Put the small box and broom inside. Then I went around in a big circle, burying the cloth, tattered shoes, scarves, and even iron knives on the way. Take out another pair of shoes from your back and put them on. I started walking on the thatch and garbage all the way back, and then I crouched down near the entrance of the courtyard. After waiting for over half an hour, all the stars in the east have risen. At this moment, the door of the courtyard rang. The door opened, with one hand covering the stomach and the other blocking the back. Hurriedly went to the restroom. It seems to be Yan Jicheng. Seeing that the other party had entered the restroom, Li Chen quickly entered the courtyard. Slowly rubbing my stomach, observing the surroundings, I slowly entered the door. Then, carefully recall what you did tonight twice without missing anything. I just breathed a sigh of relief. Perfect. Finally, a foul breath erupted. Ding, the host disabled the deaf old lady's limbs and fulfilled her wish on behalf of her predecessor. The system space is starting to bind, and binding is in progress. Here comes the golden finger. Li Chen is overjoyed. Li Chen, who had just graduated from a third-rate university in his previous life, had just interned and died in an accident due to a car accident. He left that world in the eyes of his younger brother crying and his parents grieving. Fortunately, with a younger brother taking care of his parents in his past life, Li Chen felt a lot more at ease. Ding, the living space is bound to the host, and this space shares life with the host. When the host dies, the space will automatically be unbound. Please replenish the space's vitality as soon as possible. Reminder. Only species that survive in space can provide life energy to the space. When the space absorbs a certain amount of energy, the space will feed back to the host itself. Li Chen's body trembled for a moment, feeling as if her body had been drained of energy. I feel even weaker. A panel also appeared in front of me. Li Chen, strength 2 out of 6, normal person 10, physical strength 2 out of 10, normal 10, mental 7 to 16, normal person 10, looking at the attributes of the game panel from a previous life, although Li Chen was weak, he was very happy in his heart. Just have a golden finger. Seeing the space button above, Li Chen clicked to enter. Li Chen arrived at a bare plain. I am alone in the wilderness, looking at the faint sky, time should synchronize with the outside world. But the temperature is higher than outside. Just thinking about how big the space is. A warning sound came. Ding, initial space, with a radius of 2,500 square meters. Hint, this space has no signs of life and is constantly absorbing the host's vitality. Please replenish any living things as soon as possible. Upon hearing the prompt, Chen learned that the space is approximately 50 meters long and wide. Upon hearing the following prompt, the space was constantly absorbing its vitality. Chen felt a bit nervous and walked around the space before leaving. Although a bit nervous, Chen is also considering his current situation. I possessed myself in the middle of last night, and my predecessor suddenly left due to exhaustion and high pressure, and then I possessed myself. My former parents are no longer here, and my father is a purchaser at a steel rolling mill. I took over his shift and now I am also a purchaser at the steel rolling mill. My predecessor is 23 years old this year. Is your appearance okay? Lack of nutrition, coupled with mental exhaustion, even the best appearance is ruined. My wife Shikuan is from the suburbs. She married me 3 years ago and has a 2-year-old daughter named Daodu. My father fell seriously ill after getting married. He has been shopping for supplies in the mountains for a long time, unable to eat or sleep well, and coupled with the sudden departure of his former mother, he has always been in a bad mood. After his predecessor got married, he felt like he had completed the task. Not long after his predecessor got married, his father fell seriously ill and went away. My predecessor's father not only spent all the money in the family when he fell ill, but also owed money to the factory. Fortunately, in the factory, considering that my predecessor's father was sick due to work fatigue, the compensation provided was also relatively generous. I originally owed the factory nearly 200 yuan for medical expenses, but now I owe over 30 yuan. My predecessor's father left, and he took over his father's class. A purchaser in the factory costs 18 yuan per month. Although life is a bit tough, my wife comes from the countryside and works hard to endure hardship. I also gritted my teeth and came over. Due to having a child, the money in the factory has not been repaid. The factory also considered the situation at Chen's home and did not pressure him. My wife Shikuan not only takes care of the children at home, but also takes on the job of making matchboxes under the care of the street. The income is not high, but there is also a monthly income of 5 or 6 yuan. My daughter is also sensible and well behaved. In the difficult life, her cleverness are the greatest joy for both husband and wife. The biggest disaster came from the hospital. This courtyard is a quadrangle filled with animals and TV dramas from previous lives. In the front yard, there lived the third master Yan Bugue, who was full of calculations. In the courtyard, there lived Yi Zhonghai, a dignified and morally friendly man who loved to be kidnapped. He tirelessly cared about Qin Huairu's cabinet and silly brother and sister, the White Lotus Qin Huairu, and the soul-summoning master Jia Zhang. White Wolf Stick Meme, and there's still Jia Sudong who hasn't died. There is Lu Haizhong living in the backyard, who beats children every day and is determined to become an official. There is also the villain Su Damao, who seems to have not married Lu Xiao yet. And Li Chen's most hated villain, the deaf elderly lady of the 5 guarantees household. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 002. Full of animals in the courtyard. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Because Silly Zhu is generous and has a high income in the kitchen, he has been unable to make it low. He also needs to find a beautiful city wife like Qin Huairu. So Silly Zhu has been alone all along. The deaf old lady kept thinking about Qin Huairu when she saw Silly Zhu. He focused his eyes on his neighbor Li Chen's wife, Shikuan. Shikuan was not inferior to Qin Huairu, and Shikuan's home and surroundings were particularly well organized. Even Shikuan helps take care of the deaf old lady next door, and even helps with washing and washing. Siheyuan, who looked upright and was quick at work, aroused the favor of the deaf old lady. Siheyuan took care of it and took care of it. The deaf old lady had a twisted idea and wanted to match Siheyuan with silly Zhu. Always praising silly pillars and criticizing Li Chen in front of Siheyuan. In one go and two go, Siheyuan realized something was wrong. Plus, due to the deaf old lady's reminder, silly Zhu runs to the backyard whenever he has nothing to do, and he always looks at himself with strange eyes. The deaf old lady even insinuates that it's great for her to marry silly Zhu. Siheyuan won't go to the deaf old lady's house anymore. One is that the deaf old lady always speaks ill of Li Chen, and the second is that being with oneself is easy for people to gossip. Li Chen is honest and very considerate of himself. Every day when I go home, I help myself with work and even let myself rest. This is a good man who can't even be found with a lantern on. She couldn't help but let rumors harm Li Chen. This white-eyed wolf is like this. You've been helping it all along, and she feels it's natural. If you don't help her, she will feel like you owe her instead. Siheyuan's reaction sparked the anger of the deaf old lady, who began to let the instigator silly pillar bully her predecessor, who was honest. Siheyuan refused and immediately went to find Gezhuang. As a result, Gezhuang not only refused to help, but also picked on Li Chen's predecessor under the suggestion of the deaf old lady. Silly Zhu shouted directly, saying that Siheyuan had seduced him, and the deaf old lady even said that Dodo was not a good child, saying that Dodo wanted to steal her things. During this period, there has been a lot of commotion, and the people in the courtyard not only have no one to help them. I also followed the deaf old lady, Gezhuang, and silly Zhu to laugh at them and say that they were not right. Siheyuan went down the street in a fit of anger and caused trouble. As a result, the deaf old lady stepped forward, saying that Siheyuan and Li Chen falsely accused them and even drove them out of the courtyard. Because Siheyuan couldn't provide evidence, coupled with the deaf old lady's desperate situation, she oppressed others as a military martyr's fifth guarantee household. The street is also unable to handle it. Siheyuan hugged Dodo in a fit of anger and returned to his mother's house. Leaving behind the cowardly Li Chen in the courtyard, he was even bullied by everyone, and every day he was scolded by the silly pillar pointing his nose at the trash. Yesterday, Gezhuang wanted his family to exchange their house with the Jia family, otherwise he would have driven them out of the courtyard. My predecessor was mentally exhausted last night and was extremely angry. Li Chen, who came with him, could feel the strong resentment. Li Chen was so angry that he broke the limbs of the deaf old lady. In my memory, my predecessor was often bullied by the people in the hospital, including Su Damao, Yan Bugui, Lu Haizhong, and Jia Zhang. Especially the White Lotus Qinhuairu, who often falsely accuses herself. Ask for money directly, or else say Li Chen is impolite to her. My predecessor has been hiding from Qinhuairu. Slowly collecting memories from his mind, Li Chen gritted his teeth in anger. These beasts. Not a good person. Although angry, I need to solve the fundamental problem now. We must replenish the space with living things. In my memory, it should have been just after the new year in 1963, and now it's late February. There should have been a lot of growth in the mountains as well. Looking at the broken bicycle in the corner, it's from the factory and received by the procurement department. Due to my weak body, I often cannot complete tasks, and coupled with my wife being carried away by the hospital's animal spirits. Li Chen plans to work overtime on the factory's day off today to collect some mountain goods. Collect some eggs and send them to Daodu by the way. So yesterday I told the procurement director that he agreed directly and had the finance department approve the procurement funds and invoices. In this era, buying things not only requires money, but also tickets. So he rode his bike back and left it directly inside the house. The animals in the courtyard are too bad, especially the child from the Jia family in the middle courtyard, Bangji, who is just 7 or 8 years old and has bad discharge. With the support of Gezhuang and Yi Zhonghai's foolish pillar, he was lawless in the courtyard and once chased after his family to fight Dongxu. Li Chen didn't dare to think about it anymore. If he thought about it again, he would want to kill Bang Ji now. I have possessed my predecessor and have a deep affection for Dongxu. Shovel, and some personal belongings were sent into the space. The only 10 yuan in the family, as well as the house certificate, marriage certificate with Shikuan, household registration and other items, were all sent into the space. If there is a better place, I won't leave it at home. Stick meme, that's stealing in the courtyard every day. I originally wanted to lock the door, but after thinking about it, I forgot. I am too weak now. It's not when we're tough with these beasts, and in a little while, the situation of the deaf old beasts will be discovered. It's not good to be too high. Profile, but the box behind me will come back tonight and be stored in the space. I just don't have enough money to replenish the living species in the space. With money, I can get a lot. I still have 50 yuan of factory funds and some tickets on me. Let's use it today first. I went to the kitchen and even the only stick noodles and some kitchen utensils were sent into the space. All the remaining coal blocks were sent in. I am weak and avoid running back and forth. I brought it up into the mountain and it is convenient to eat. After thinking about it, I thought I brought some good blankets with me at home. To prevent not being able to come back at night. I am too weak. I always want to sleep, but I dare not. I'm afraid that if I fall asleep, I won't be able to get up. After tidying up, it's almost done. Li Chen is considering when to leave. Not waiting for the deaf old lady to be discovered and leave indicates that she is feeling guilty. If she wants to leave after the old beast is discovered, she will probably have to wait for a while. After some thought, it's better to wait until you're discovered before leaving. Make breakfast now. I drank a little water to ease my mood. I'm still a bit nervous in my heart. Li Chen started cooking. Woda doesn't want to leave, let's make pancakes instead. In his past life, he loved eating corn flour pancakes the most. When mixing corn flour, a little salt was added. Half of the cabbage at home was also stir-fried, and then the corn flour was pasted on top of the cabbage in the pot. The fragrant smell made Li Chen even more hungry. Li Chen is very weak and urgently needs to supplement his nutrition. But before the rice was cooked, a mother's shout came from outside. Hurry up, someone. Something big is happening. Hurry up, someone. Li Chen sealed the fire and decided to go out and take a look. If you don't go out, it means you're feeling guilty. Besides, I have a good disguise now, and I am really weak. Li Chen came out from the ear room kitchen. Seeing a group of people at the door of the deaf old lady's house, they were all looking inside with their heads stretched out. The room was filled with shouts and screams. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 003. Anger Against Animals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Chen leaned against his own door, looking at these beasts in the courtyard. Hurry up to the hospital, hurry up to the hospital. Yi Zhonghai shouted crazily. The deaf old lady is his backstage, it's troublesome if she's going to die. Then Silly Zhu came out carrying the deaf old lady and ran outside the courtyard, with a group of filial sons and virtuous grandchildren following behind. No one paid attention to Li Chen on the right, he had no presence in the yard. Watching Silly Zhu run with the deaf old lady on his back, Li Chen sneered inwardly. My hands and feet are broken, and I'm still swaying on my back. Wandering to the hospital, it's probably difficult to pick it up. Connecting it is also useless. At this moment, an 8 or 9-year-old boy ran out of the deaf old lady's house holding a basin. Running out of the backyard. The thief's stick meme in the courtyard ran away from the deaf old lady's copper basin. While running, he gave Li Chen a fierce glance with his small eyes. Li Chen looked at the little white-eyed wolf and made up his mind. If there's a chance, I'll definitely kill this kid. Keeping it is a curse. My daughter Daodu wants to live here, and if there is a meme, she will definitely be bullied. We must find a chance to kill the stick meme. The meal was ready, and Li Chen wolfed down half of it. Leave half of it in the space. As an afternoon meal. Pack up, Li Chen is ready to leave. Li Chen, strength 4 out of 6, normal person 10, physical strength 8 out of 10, normal 10, mental 9/16, normal person 10, after eating, my 3-dimensional skills increased significantly and I also gained some strength. My mind has also become clearer, and I am not as weak as I was at the beginning. I have also lost my drowsiness. Move the bike out and check it out. There are also some tools in the back pocket of the car, including an air pump. It seems that broken cars often break down. Carrying tools is to prevent damage on the road. The sun has risen and dispelled some chill. The air is filled with the smell of gas, and in this era, cooking is all about burning coal and firewood. Of course, this is the smell. The car chains are all normal, there is oil on them. It seems that I have also taken care of my car. The suburbs are not close, it all refers to this car for transportation. Li Chen, don't leave yet. The police comrades are here. Wait until they have inquired about the situation before leaving. The old lady is very seriously injured and she is the ancestor of our hospital. Everyone needs to cooperate. Yi Zhonghai returned, and together with Silly Zhu and everyone, he took the deaf old lady to the hospital. The doctor checked and scolded them so badly that they were able to pick it up, but now they have been swaying all the way, making it even more difficult for muscles and muscles to bond. Even if the bones are connected, they are useless. Upon hearing the doctor say that the old lady had all her limbs broken, everyone took a deep breath. What a big grudge this is. Yi Zhonghai, Lu Haizhong, and Yan Bugue dare not make their own decisions. They report to the police and the street separately. The police confirmed whether it was a family member of the martyrs or a household with 5 guarantees. Immediately start paying attention, they will definitely check the scene and inquire about the situation in the courtyard, and come directly to the courtyard with Yi Zhonghai. Seeing Yang Han about to leave, Yi Zhonghai immediately stopped him. Yan Bugue and Lu Haizhong also came with the people from the street, and it seems that they all attach great importance to it. Even Director Wang of the street came. A woman in her 40s. Hurry up and ask. I'm going into the mountains to make purchases today. It's far away. Li Chen, how did you speak? Our ancestors have had an accident. You must cooperate fully. Purchasing can come later. That's your ancestor, not mine. It's related to me. Li Chen retorted after hearing Yi Zhonghai's words. Li Chen, what's your attitude? You're disobeying discipline. What are you? Why do I have to obey your discipline? Just because you want to become an official every day and beat children every day. The mediator in the hospital, you have such great authority. Lu Haizhong came out to find a sense of existence, and Li Chen didn't get used to him either. I'll beat you to death. The bangs burned. I want to take action. Li Chen directly took out the wrench from his pocket. If he dares to take action, he will swing him himself. Lao Lu, stop. Yi Zhonghai was a bit surprised by Li Chen's condition today. Lu Haizhong, what are you doing? Is this how you usually mediate in the courtyard? Every day when I have nothing to do, I can't figure out my own family's affairs and even mediate with others. Oh my God. I don't know who blinded you and made you the master of the courtyard. Director Wang of the street spoke, and Li Chen didn't give face either. The street also bears responsibility for being bullied like this at home. Feeling angry in my heart, I didn't care anymore. Director Wang is foolish, even the street has been scolded. Director Wang, take a look. This Li Chen is just disobeying discipline. He's the only one in the courtyard who's a thorn in the head. It affects the unity of the entire courtyard. I've said it many times, but there's really no way. Yi Zhonghai, are you the emperor of the courtyard? I still have to listen to you. When silly Zhu bullied me, you pretended to be dead there. When the deaf old lady falsely accused my daughter, who is less than 2 years old, of stealing, you also pretended to be dead there. When silly Zhu falsely accused my wife of seducing him, you also pretended to be dead there. Last night, you still occupied my house and asked me to exchange it with the Jia family. If not, you would drive me out of the courtyard. Oh my goodness. You are so bad, pretending to be a good person every day, and there will be retribution sooner or later. Coincidentally, the police also came, and I also reported it to the police. These people bully my house every day, and my wife is so angry. I'm taking my daughter away. You guys take care of it. There's also the street, and Yi Zhonghai wants to take over my house. You guys take care of it. Li Chen, you're talking nonsense. Yi Zhonghai certainly didn't admit it. No way, Yi Zhonghai. You promised to exchange this damn parents' house for us today. Our house is all packed. We're all ready to move today. Yi Zhonghai denied it, but his pig teammate Jia Zhangshi came out. Their families are all preparing to move. Watching Jia Zhang help, Li Chen felt secretly happy. But if she dares to curse herself, she can't spare her. Police officer, Jia Zhang scolded me, and I called the police to arrest her. You don't care, I'll smash the wrench to death. 2 police officers were startled. Little beast, give it a try. Jia Zhang looked at Li Chen, who was being bullied by her every day, and dared to use a wrench to smash her. It was simply the opposite. Capture it. Handcuff it. 2 police officers saw this old lady so reckless that they dared to curse and even hit people in front of them. Start grabbing people directly, otherwise Li Chen would really throw a wrench at her and cause trouble if something happens. Because the reason was the old lady cursing, they didn't care, so Li Chen took action. Li Chen, why don't you empathize with your elders? Just say a few words about what's wrong with you. They are all from the same hospital, so you can't speak well. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 004. Jia Dongxu directly arrested. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I don't have any elders, my elders are all dead. Yi Zhonghai, you are all going to rob my house and scold me. After that, I still need to understand you. You are so great. Our street is the best street, and we need someone as great as you to rule the courtyard and make everyone obey you. Under your rule, the courtyard will surely prosper. I heard that our good street has even given us the title of civilized courtyard. You rule so well. I want to go to the newspaper and have them commend our street and courtyard. Yi Zhonghai, please stop talking immediately. Li Chen, you misunderstood. Our street has no evidence to interfere with your family's affairs. Director Wang's scalp tingled after hearing Li Chen's words. Quickly explained to Yang Han. Oh, there's evidence now, still in front of the police. First of all, I don't accept mediation. They are partnering to occupy my house, so you can handle it. Li Chen kicked the ball directly to Director Wang and the police. Waiting for them to handle it. Li Chen, you. Yi Zhonghai, stop talking. On behalf of the street, I will cancel your status as a master. Waiting for investigation. Yi Zhonghai is so angry. I was stopped by Director Wang when I wanted to speak. The deaf old lady is not here, and no one is speaking for her anymore. What's going on with Li Chen? Usually, he can't kick a fart with 3 kicks, it's all his wife's fault. How could you say so today? Comrade Li Chen, your neighbor's deaf old lady has had an accident. We need to investigate with the street and inquire about your situation. Could you please wait a moment before going out? No problem, it should be. The deaf old lady is a family member of the martyrs, and for the sake of the martyrs, she must cooperate. The police spoke politely, and Li Chen certainly gave face. Very cooperative, but I emphasize it is for the martyrs. A police officer began to enter the house to investigate, while another police officer controlled Jia Zhang's family. Jia Zhang looked at Li Chen with malicious eyes. What are you doing? Why are you catching my mom? Dongxu. You're here. Li Chen, a little beast, falsely accused me of cursing him and had the police arrest me. Li Chen, dare the police catch my mother? I'll kill you. Jia Dongxu said and rushed towards Li Chen. The police officer and Director Wang were stunned and acted so recklessly in front of them. Yi Zhonghai had a bad idea. How could this Dongxu be as foolish as Jia Zhangshi, and act against Director Wang in front of the police? This is a self-trained elderly person. Dongxu, stop it. Yi Zhonghai spoke, trying to remind Li Chen that there was something in his hand. But Jia Dongxu was angry, especially Li Chen, who could bully anyone in the courtyard. He dared to let the police catch his mother. We must teach him a lesson and make him quickly tell the police to release his mother. Li Chen held a wrench in his hand and placed it behind him. When Jia Dongxu rushed in front of him, he turned sideways and extended his right foot. Jia Dongxu was tripped, coupled with the force of rushing towards him. He hit the ground hard with his face straight ahead. When I waited, the blood from my nose was already flowing down with a loud noise. Li Chen, you little beast. Dare to hit my son, you damn thing, I'll fight with you. Jia Zhang looked at her son's face full of blood. He went crazy and rushed towards Li Chen wearing handcuffs. The police didn't hesitate to see Li Chen pick up the wrench. He kicked Jia Zhang directly to the ground. Captain Lin, come out and catch someone. The police kicked Jia Zhang and directly called the police inside to come out and catch someone. Director Wang was so angry that he trembled all over. The people in this courtyard are also too lawless. Yi Zhonghai quickly went to help Dongxu and told him not to cause trouble. Dongxu, what's wrong with you? Who hit it? White Lotus Qinhuairu has arrived, it seems like she is still pregnant. She was followed by Bang Ji, and there was a thin and weak little girl of 3 or 4 years old. With a sorrowful expression on his face, it immediately makes one feel heartbroken. The police have beaten someone, the police have beaten someone, is there any way to do it? Lao Jia. Come back and take a look. Our orphans and widows have been bullied to death, come back and take them away. Jia Zhang was beaten by the police, of course not willing. Started howling wildly and began to summon souls. Street people, immediately help control Jia Zhang's mother and son. Publicly promote feudal superstition and confront the police. Captain Lin, who came out of the room, was taken aback by what was happening outside. Hear what the old lady said. Directly added the charge of promoting feudal superstition. Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxu were roasted together. Yi Zhonghai and Qinhuairu, who were close to them, were also driven away. The two people brought by Director Wang also helped the police control Yi Zhonghai and Jia Zhangshi. Comrade Li Chen, I took a brief look at the scene. But now something like this has happened in the courtyard. We must go back to the institute first, and you must also go back with us. These two people need to be arrested. You are the party involved and we need your testimony. Sure, no problem. I'll go with you. Of course, Li Chen wanted to send the Jia family mother and son inside. Li Chen, everyone is from the courtyard. Forget it. Yi Zhonghai came out and stirred up again. Yi Zhonghai, you conspire with the Jia family to take over my house. The worst thing is you. Police officer. Don't let him go. Yi Zhonghai, you also come with us. Explain the situation clearly. The police listened to Li Chen's words and felt that Yi Zhonghai was not a good person, so they also took him back for questioning. Yi Zhonghai was stunned. Yi Zhonghai, go to the police station and explain it honestly. Our street will always pay attention to this matter. Also, Yan Bugui is responsible for taking care of the courtyard. Lu Haizhong is also waiting for investigation. If it is not qualified, your status as an uncle will be cancelled. Director Wang was angry, and every time he wanted to handle things in this courtyard, he was unreasonably stopped by the deaf old lady. The deaf old lady had an accident this time, so it's a good time to manage this courtyard well. Qin Huairu's eyes rolled wildly behind her, thinking for a moment. Let Bang Ji take care of her younger sister and run to the hospital quickly. Li Chen saw Qin Huairu's back and knew what she had done. I must have gone to the hospital to find the deaf old lady. The daughter-law of the Jia family has gone to find their ancestors. If the martyrs had spirits and their families were so lawless, I don't know what they would think. Is it true that other martyrs' families are like this? Li Chen pushed the car, seemingly talking to himself, and walked towards the outside of the courtyard. After thinking for a moment, I stopped again. Come back and lock all your room and kitchen doors. Li Chen, why are you locking the door? We are a civilized courtyard, and we don't lock the door. What should we do if you're like this? Yan Bugui hesitated for a moment, but still told Li Chen about the rules in the courtyard. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 005. The Arrogant Stupid Pillar. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Oh my god, it's a civilized courtyard. You're like a bandit, teaming up to rob houses, directly cursing and beating people in front of street workers and police comrades, promoting feudal superstition. You've made my wife and daughter unable to return home. If your ancestors were here, you might have to meddle and obstruct law enforcement again. What a civilization. You're a good teacher, and the students you've taught must be good. By the way, Yan Bugui heard that you're still an excellent teacher. You're amazing. You talk nonsense when you open your eyes, and the students you've taught must be the same. Society needs teachers like you, and the students you've taught. Your students will first calculate to take advantage of small gains, and then open their eyes to teach them the same way. Your eyes are lying. Amazing, as long as your students succeed, the country will thank you. Yan Bugui, they lock the door and take care of your affairs. Are you doing the same? Alright. This courtyard is very good. You are also temporarily mediating the affairs of the courtyard. If it is found that you also have misconduct, you are not qualified to be the master of the courtyard. The result needs to be reported to the school, and we cannot let those with improper thinking teach bad children. Li Chen locked the door, but Yan Bugui opposed using the civilized courtyard. Li Chen's ridicule and emotion. Director Wang couldn't hold his pride anymore and started scolding Yan Bugui directly. She felt that if Yan Bugui also had problems, it would be terrifying. The children in school may have been taught badly. Yan Bugui was stunned and scared, so he quickly apologized to Li Chen. I thought to myself, what happened to Li Chen today? Not only can he speak, but he is also very ruthless. Yan Bugui, should I repay the 10 yuan I borrowed from my house? With the identity of the master in the courtyard, I have been procrastinating and refusing to repay it. Also, with the identity of the master, the garbage left by your house at the entrance of my kitchen should be cleaned up. And in front of everyone, when Bang Gung came to my house to steal things and bully my daughter, I would directly beat him to death. Just now, he ran out with the deaf old lady's copper basin. Yi Zhonghai always protects this little thief, and the courtyard has become a den of thieves. Li Chen remembered that Yan Bugui had borrowed 10 yuan from his own home. My wife has asked for it several times, but she still hasn't given it. This petty person who takes advantage of others. Taking advantage of the presence of the police and Director Wang, I happened to talk about the affairs in the courtyard. No, I asked Bang Ji to bring me a basin to use. It will be returned soon. Gezhuang, familiar with the way, immediately began to push away. Every time you get caught stealing, you always say that, and then Yi Zhonghai helps you break free from the mud. Director Wang's face turned pale with anger. The two police officers also looked at Bang Ji with unfriendly eyes. Bang Ji hasn't sent the copper basin back to the old lady's house yet. After listening to Yi Zhonghai's words, Bang Ji gave Li Chen a malicious glance and turned his head back home to get a basin. Looking at the gaze of Bang Ji, the two police officers frowned deeper with Director Wang. Director Wang looked at the righteous Yi Zhonghai and realized that he had been deceived by this person. Yan Bugue smiled awkwardly and sent Li Chen 10 yuan, all of which were small change. In front of Director Wang, he said he came together. Lu Haizhong also asked his 3 sons and his second aunt to move all the things left at Li Chen's doorstep back to their own doorstep. Lu Guangqi just got married and hasn't left yet. Director Wang gave Yan Bugue and Lu Haizhong a deep glance. Then, together with the police, they left with the Jia family, mother, son, and Yi Zhonghai. Li Chen looked coldly at the animals in the courtyard and thought to himself that this was just the beginning. Especially Su Damao, who always looks at his wife with narrowed eyes. Sooner or later, kill him. But he seems to have gone to the countryside to show a movie, so he wasn't in the courtyard today. Silly Zhu, Su Damao, and Bangji, these 3 must be dealt with as soon as possible. With these 3 scumbags, my wife and daughter cannot come back to live. We must find a solution as soon as possible. Qin Huairu was pregnant and dared not run quickly, rushing to the hospital. When I arrived at the hospital, I told Silly Zhu and his aunt about what had happened in the hospital. Rainwater didn't go to school today and is also here. Li Chen wants to die, I'll go back and kill him. It's him. Silly Zhu started to go berserk. Pillar, what are you doing? Street Director Wang and the police are all here. Do you also want to be arrested by the police like my mother? In Law and Dongxu. What will I do if you have another accident? Qin Huairu's words made Silly Zhu panic directly. Quickly comfort Qin Huairu and take the opportunity to hold her hand. What a soft thought. Qin Huairu pretended to be shy and watched Silly Zhu gently retract her hand. Silly Zhu felt numb when he saw Qin Huairu's shy appearance. Looking at Silly Zhu's infatuated expression, Qin Huairu was very satisfied with her acting skills. Rainwater looked at his brother and sighed that there was no way to save him. But she dare not say. Afraid of offending my brother, my living expenses will be cut off. I will persist until high school graduation no matter how hungry I am. A woman heard that Yi Zhonghai had gone to the police station. I'm a bit panicked. My family has been calculating Li Chen's house in order to help the Jia family, and she knows about it. Pillar, how's the old lady doing? It's up to her now. Without her intervention, even an old man would be in trouble. Qin Huairu didn't mention her mother. In Law and Jia Dongxu, but instead mentioned Yi Zhonghai. Sure enough, Silly Zhu and an old lady were in a hurry. Silly Zhu was brainwashed by Yi Zhonghai and still cares a lot about him. The old lady is seriously injured and still under treatment. Her hands and feet have been broken in the opposite direction, and the doctor says it's difficult to recover. Who caused the old lady to do this? If I know who it is, I will have to kill him. Qin Huairu listened to Silly Column's words and had a dim sum. The deaf old lady is currently out of hope. Now we can rely on Li Chen's forgiveness. If he doesn't understand, it will be very troublesome. My mother. In Law is unreasonable and the evidence is conclusive. It's troublesome now. Qin Huairu said and burst into tears. If he dares not come out, I will kill him. Silly Zhu started again. Qin Huairu was at a loss in her heart, so it seemed like she had to let Silly Zhu come up with a solution. It would be best to force Li Chen to issue a letter of understanding, as even if something goes wrong, he won't lose anything. Carried by a fool. Just a few fewer lunch boxes, wait for the deaf old lady to wake up. Silly Zhu will be fine. What Li Chen didn't know was that so many things had happened at home. Most of them were instigated by the White Lotus flower Qin Huairu. In the police station, Li Chen first testified against Gezhuang and his family Dongxu. There are police officers and Director Wang of the street present, and Gezhuang and Dongxu are not allowed to play pranks. There is also the matter of Yi Zhonghai joining forces with the Jia family to occupy their own house, and I have also provided evidence. Then comes the situation at the home of the deaf old lady. Li Chen said that he has been very weak recently, and his wife and daughter have been bullied back to their mother's house by the animals in the courtyard. As for the situation of the deaf old lady, I really don't know. Even if you hear any noise, you won't pay attention. Because I can't afford it, the lawlessness of the people in the courtyard is all based on the deaf old lady. I really can't afford to provoke myself. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 006. Kind Living Auntie. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Director Wang from the street has also come to the police station. After listening to Li Chen's narration, she felt very helpless. I hope I didn't say it for nothing. Oh, I guess the deaf old lady has come, it's all for nothing. Are these martyrs' families all lawless? He Yuzhu's father, He Da-Qing, is a famous chef in the 4 or 9 cities. He is a descendant of the Tan family's palace cuisine. All the houses in our family are our own. How could they be made up of poor people? Is it because I have good eyesight, or are others blind? Li Chen finished speaking and left. After finishing many things, I have a clear idea in my mind. If the police and the street give way to the deaf old lady again, he will find a way to use public opinion. The newspaper doesn't accept it, go and post your own small advertisement. I studied planning in a third-rate university in my past life. If the main move doesn't work, use the crooked move. Sometimes, crooked moves are more effective. Those beasts, go and pick them up bit by bit. Director Wang, this Li Chen has a great grudge against the deaf old lady. Did he do what happened last night? Captain Lin, don't use a speculative tone. You need evidence. You should start dealing with the few people being detained now. Don't wait for the deaf old lady to wake up and make trouble again. There is also the matter of He Yuzhu, I need to investigate. The composition is fake, this matter is not small. It seems that Li Chen has been bullied and started to fight back. They all speak with evidence. Don't mention anything without evidence here. I want to go back to the courtyard and take a look again. These few people just caused trouble. They didn't carefully survey the scene. Okay, then let's split up and take action. This courtyard needs to be thoroughly investigated. Li Chen left the police station. I went to the market. See if we can buy some live animals. At the Red Star Market, Li Chen made a few turns. I found several chicken sellers, but after calculation, I still haven't bought them. Suddenly, he saw a fish seller and his eyes couldn't help but brighten. Fish, water, by the way, it's water. Li Chen rode his bike out of the city and found a clean pond. Find a thicket, a hidden place. Looking around, there was no one, so I put my bike in the space. I also went in and searched in the space. Sure enough, in a corner, a large pit of nearly 40 to 50 square meters was found. I originally wanted to dig, but now there's no need to dig. Now in February, although the weather is cold, the ice has melted. Control the position of the big hole in the space in your mind. Put your hand into the pond. Silently recite and accept. The river began to enter the space with its own hands, and Li Chen also noticed that a small fish had followed the river into the space. When the river received half of the space pit, Li Chen's head felt pain. Li Chen quickly stopped moving. Li Chen's strength 3/6, normal person 10, physical strength 5 out of 10, normal 10, spirit 3 to 16, normal person 10. After looking at the panel, it's true that my mental strength has decreased. It seems that you need to be careful when placing things in the space, it takes a lot of energy. After collecting the water, Li Chen rode his bike back to the market. He will take all the live fish caught by the people themselves, regardless of their size. A few cents to a few yuan, a few uncles caught fish from the nearby pond at home. All were sold to Li Chen. The most important of these fish are free of tickets. A few people selling dead fish heard that Li Chen was buying fish to keep, so he didn't join in. In this era, rural people rarely eat fish, which is too fuel-efficient. I don't want to eat a few meals without oil. If I don't cook well, the fishy smell is too strong. At this time, there are no future generations of seasonings to remove the fishy smell. In rural households, having soy sauce makes them feel very luxurious. Young man, you want to raise fish. So, do you raise chickens? Li Chen turned around and saw a middle-aged woman in her 60s and 70s, covered in patches. The wrinkles on the face carry a sense of vicissitudes. The speech is full of Beijing flavor, and it sounds like people born and raised in the 49 cities. Even if they are not from the city, they are from the urban-rural integration zone. At this age, she has experienced a lot in terms of speaking style. Because her upbringing was a time of ups and downs in the 4 or 9 cities. Auntie, I raise you. Young man, can you promise not to kill it? Feed it slowly, it can lay eggs and hatch chicks. Aunt, I promise you, I won't kill it. Li Chen felt a little sad. The aunt should be very lonely, and took her own chicken as a partner. Auntie smiled, her wrinkled face smiling. Li Chen, who was smiling, was very shocked. If in future generations, he would definitely use his phone to capture this scene. This smile feels like a person who has experienced hardships for a long time, encountered the most beautiful thing, and then smiled very happily. Auntie opened the patched cloth on the collapsed basket on her right hand, and a reed chicken crouched in the basket. Seeing a stranger, I quickly tightened my neck. Hua Hua, don't be afraid. I can't feed you anymore. Young man, there are 5 chicks under Hua Hua's belly. You find a rope, Hua Hua hasn't tied it yet. If I'm not here, it will run. Li Chen gave Aunt 6 yuan. I even bought a basket. Auntie wanted 4 yuan, but Li Chen insisted on giving it. Tell Aunt, this chicken is obedient and easy to raise, it's worth the money. Aunt wiped away her tears and gave her address to Li Chen. If Li Chen doesn't want to take care of her one day, you can find her. She bought it back and said she still has a piece of jewelry that is worth a few yuan. Auntie left, although she had small feet, her speed was not slow. I walked a long way, still bowing my head to wipe away my tears. Finally, I couldn't help but turn around and look towards Li Chen. Li Chen waved at her and Aunt smiled. She saw Li Chen smile and walked away with peace of mind. Li Chen took note of this address and will go and see her when there is a chance. He doesn't know what Aunt went through, but he knows that she lived strong and kind during that difficult era. Put all the received fish into the space pond. The chicken even put the basket into the space. Coincidentally, I bought some corn noodles and fed them to the chicks. I found another chicken seller. I spent over a yuan and bought more than 10 chicks. All have been sent into space. I took a spin and went to the seed station to take a look. Except for some vegetable seeds, there are very few other seeds. I spent 2 yuan to buy some. By the way, inquire with the boss where there are fruit trees for sale. Sure enough, the boss knows a lot. Li Chen was given an address with a fruit tree, and he was overjoyed. Quickly pulled out a cigarette for the boss. Smoking is a cheap worker, farmer, and soldier brand, and this cigarette can be purchased without a ticket. But Li Chen was also very enthusiastic about drawing with the boss. Then I heard that Li Chen is a purchaser of Red Star steel rolling plant, and he is even more respected by Li Chen. In this era, the older worker has a high status and is highly respected by everyone. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 007. Rewards and spatial feedback of the system. You are listening at novelfull.audio. So, Li Chen learned about several locations where seeds were sold. One of them is still selling medicinal seeds. The two chatted for a while. Finally, they parted ways in the polite greetings exchanged between Brother Lin and Brother Li. Li Chen originally wanted to chat for a while longer. But my own system has a prompt. Ding, the host punishes the beasts on behalf of the predecessor. Rewards beginners in fighting skills and cooking skills. Ding, the living space gains vitality and begins to feed back to the host. Ride a bike and find a deserted place to enter the space. Perhaps there is a breath of life in the space, and it feels like this place is different. Although still bare, it is not as bleak as before. By the pond, Hua Hua strolled around with a group of chicks, bringing along all the chicks she had bought later. Li Chen's strength 3/7, normal person 10, physical strength 8/10, normal 10, mental 10/17, normal person 10, fighting art beginner, not learned, beginner level culinary skills, not learned. I have increased my strength and spirit a bit, and I have also recovered a lot. There is also a click to learn fighting skills, and a click to learn cooking skills. A burst of memory came and my mind was in pain. I adapted slowly. Brain memory then turns into muscle memory. Li Chen's mood is getting better and better, and finally he has the ability to protect himself and his wife and daughter. Those beasts in the courtyard must be made worse than dead. Since tidying up animals can earn you system rewards, then clean up well. Li Chen, strength 3/8, physical strength 8/11, spirit August 17th, beginner in fighting, beginner in cooking, learned 2 skills and gained 1 point in strength. My physical strength has also increased by 1 point. I originally wanted to go to Shishan to dig up trees and vegetation, but Li Chen thought for a moment and felt that it was too slow. Go get the deaf old lady's small box first. Eliminate all traces of oneself there. This era belongs to the combination of military management and system, and the laws are not yet sound. You must be careful. We can't let them grab the handle. It's best to face each other in the future without being tough. Sometimes, the means behind it are more effective. When I pick up something by myself, I realize something is wrong. Someone just walked by. Fortunately, everything is here. The box was taken away, and all the broken shoes and blades I had hidden were also taken away. Li Chen also looked at the traces and came from the back wall of the courtyard. It is estimated that the police have returned. It seems that the police also felt that outsiders had entered the courtyard, entering from the back wall. This way, I can rest assured. The marks I deliberately left on the back wall should have worked. I quietly left and found a deserted place to enter the space. Start exploring the deaf old lady's small box. Open the box, it is full of grain tickets, as well as cloth tickets and sugar tickets. This is all government subsidies. The old beast rubbed around to eat, and she saved these tickets herself. In previous TV dramas, there was a scene of a silly pillar carrying an old animal to sell food stamps. Here's the money, I counted it. More than 1,200 yuan. The old beast really saved up a lot of money. I found something good at the bottom, a pair of jade bracelets and earrings. Surprisingly, there are 2 small yellow croakers and dozens of yuan data daong. Little yellow croaker is a good thing, the country is crazily collecting it. Private trading prohibited. Then there is the proof of the 5 guarantees for the old animal. There are also reasons to become a 5 guarantee household above. Assist the Red Army in fitting shoe soles. That's it, becoming a martyr's family. Has this old beast ever been to the south? Besides the Red Army in northern Shaanxi, she couldn't have gone either. We must come up with a solution for this. I can't say for sure, last night's actions can be linked to this. This can be planned, it must be done. The chivalrous and righteous chivalrous warrior couldn't stand the old beast deceiving people, so he deposed her and took the government money she had tricked into helping the poor. This is great, design it well. If you have money, of course you need to go clean up. Find a place with clean water and fill up the pond with water. Then we started wandering around various markets, including grains, quilts, and fruit candies. I used all the tickets of the deaf old beast. Then I started using money to buy fish, eggs, and even old hens and roosters. When I arrived at a recycling bin, I went in and took a look. In this era, the recycling bin is also a second-hand market. I picked out 2 nice-looking beds, a few chairs, and a table. I bought a bunch of 2 stoves, pots, bowls, ladles, and pots. Forget the old bedding. I also bought a large cylinder and kept it for draining. In the future, find ways to make some building materials, decorate your home, and have a house in the space. I saw some discarded wood in the recycling bin, which is not suitable for furniture. But we can build wooden houses and fences. The most important thing is, it doesn't need tickets. Buy some first, as long as you go into the mountains later. Cut down more big trees. In this era, no one cares about chopping indiscriminately, as long as you can pull it out of the mountains. I also found some things that look like cultural relics, but I didn't buy them. I bought quite a few myself. Daily necessities won't make people suspicious, buying something else will make people suspicious. In this era, it's better to be careful when guarding against spies everywhere. If investigated, the reporting unit or street. That would be very troublesome. My neighbor had an accident last night, and today we are making a big purchase. Anyone who thinks about it knows there's a problem. I've almost bought it, find a place. Ask the person from the recycling station to deliver it. It's already past noon, so I took out the leftover food I made in the morning and ate it myself. The people at the recycling bin are very puzzled about how to deliver it here. But I didn't ask too much. Maybe they have other cars to pull. While eating, I was calculating where to go in the afternoon. I finally decided to go to Gezhuang. My predecessor was most concerned about his wife and daughter. He came with himself and must fulfill all his wishes. Put everything in the space and then go to the market to find something. Snacks for children, handmade scarves for women. Tu Hua surprisingly discovered a handmade little tiger. Hurry up and buy it. As long as you don't need tickets, you can buy them. Of course, I'll definitely buy eggs, old hens, and fish. I also bought high-priced grain without a ticket, but it was very rare. Only available in the black market and pigeon market. Let's go check out when we have time in the future. Gezhuang in the suburbs of 49 cities. His aunt, I heard that Xiaokuan has been back for a long time. What's going on? Mrs. Hu, the village matchmaker, is at Shikuan's house, inquiring with his mother about his situation. It was the village chief's son who asked to inquire about Shikuan. The village chief's son has been thinking about him since he was young. Shikuan was introduced to Mary into the city. Now that Shikuan suddenly comes to his mother's house and doesn't leave, there must be a problem in the city. He quickly asked the matchmaker to come and ask. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 008. Gezhuang meets his wife and daughter. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Kuen's mother was just about to speak. Mom, don't talk nonsense. Upon hearing Kuen's words, his mother sighed and remained silent. Oh, Kuen. She's really getting more and more beautiful. Guzi divorced his wife. He has been thinking about you all along. He saw you go back to his mother's house and hasn't returned to the city, so he asked me to come and ask. Matchmaker who saw Kuen and quickly praised with a smile on her face. This is going to happen, she has a lot of benefits. There's nothing to ask, Chad is okay. Don't talk about me. Talk about me again, I'll just rush people. Kuen finished speaking and went straight back to the house. Matchmaker who is foolish, but this girl's temper has not changed. Kuen said it to her, but she dare not speak back. The family girl is famous for her strength. Beautiful yet capable, sensible. Many good families used to want to marry the family and take care of their sons when they got married. Be more powerful. Who matchmaker left awkwardly. Mu asked her not to speak recklessly. If the head of the family found out, she wouldn't have any good fruit to eat. Matchmaker who quickly agreed. Old Shi's temper is notoriously hot, but everyone in the village admires him. Mom, I'm hungry. Daodu, be good, my uncle will catch fish for you after school. I'll grill it for you to eat tonight. Daodu listened, swallowed his saliva, and nodded. Mom, I miss Dad. Kuen listened to Daodu's words and tightly held Daodu in his arms. Thinking of Li Chen, she felt even more uncomfortable in her heart. Li Chen was so honest that if she wasn't there, she would definitely be bullied by that group of people. Why are these people so bad? That deaf old lady has a kind eyebrow and a kind purpose, but why is she so bad? I still help her with work and cooking every day, and Kuen can't figure it out. And that disgusting silly pillar, his sister is so hungry that she has become thin and dry. I can't bear to watch it myself, sometimes I quietly give he rainwater a nest. And silly Zhu gave all the lunch boxes he brought from the factory to the Jia family. And Bang Yu carried a lunch box full of braised pork belly, showing up everywhere in the yard. He rainwater sometimes feels aggrieved and nobody says anything. He always comes here to talk about it, mainly to help her make a matchbox, and he also shares a few cents with her. Kuen has been encouraging he rainwater to persist in graduating from high school. With a high school graduation certificate, she can find a serious job. Unlike myself, with a primary school education, hanging on the streets for so long, it's not even easy to find a temporary worker. Thinking of the group of people in the courtyard, Kuen gritted his teeth in anger. If he's not here, silly Zhu probably can focus less on Li Chen. They are all deaf old ladies, it's too bad. Silly Zhu originally thought about Jia's daughter in La Qinhuairu every day, delivering lunch boxes to their family every day. However, Jia's mother and son turned a blind eye to her every bite, ignoring silly Zhu and ignoring her. It's all Mrs. Long who's rushing around to harass herself. Thinking of the deaf old lady, Kuen gritted his teeth in hatred. Daodu Tian's old grandmother calls out sweetly, but when she turns around, she doesn't recognize anyone and falsely accuses Daodu of trying to steal her things. In order to tempt himself, he took out the jewelry from the small box and said that as long as he married silly Zhu, he would give himself the earrings. She also said that everything in that box, when she dies, adding a house will be foolish. Kuen didn't even look, and since then he has ignored the deaf old lady. So, their family's disaster began. I can't pass it anymore, you can take a look. Marrying into the village chief's house, you don't have to do any work, and you still have to earn a job. Shut up, that dog was messing with the widow and was caught by his wife. He even beat his wife. That's why we got divorced. Are you trying to harm your sister? The sound of arguments came from the outer room. It was my mother who was angrily scolding my sister. Law. I have an older brother and a younger brother. My older brother got married and was separated by my sister. Law. Until now, the family still owes them money. The money they owed when they got married, and the older brother and his wife haven't helped pay back a penny. I guess the village chief's son Guzi also came to talk to her. Shi Kunhuo came up and wanted to go out and scold her. Daughter. Law, we have split up. Please go home. Don't enter this house in the future. Shi Kuan's father has returned. The eldest daughter. Law saw her father. Law coming back and quickly ran away. My father. Law has a hot temper, and whenever he gets angry, he will hit him. That's really a fight. She dare not provoke. What's going on? Don't let her come knocking in the future. Tell her, she'll come again and I'll break the boss's leg. And Xiaokuan, when we see Li Chen, tell him, if it's not possible, come to the village to farm. What's good in the city? Dad, I got it. After listening to his father's words, Shi Kun felt warm in his heart. My father just looked at Li Chen and saw that he had met so many partners. He has set his sights on Li Chen. He said that if there are only a few children in the family, his daughter's temper will follow him, and he must find someone with a good personality. My father is known for his hot temper in the village. Shi Kuan's temperament has also changed with him. If it weren't for my own obstruction, my father would have gone to the city courtyard and caused trouble long ago. Hey, what's the use of making a fuss? That deaf old lady is both gloomy and bad, maybe my father will be counted on. Head of the household, don't get angry. There's nothing left at home except corn flour. Daodu, this child always eats coarse grains. Well, the second kid had fish stew at noon. I made it up last night, there should be a few small fish. Then use a pan to fry vigorously, making the thorns crispy and letting the beans chew bit by bit. If there's no oil, flip it over quickly and don't burn it. The beans love to eat. Well, okay, Daodu's face is getting thinner and thinner, and I'm so anxious. Upon hearing the conversation between his father and mother, Shi Kun felt even more uncomfortable in his heart. Daodu, come on, look at what this is. Ah, peanuts. Grandpa is so kind, thank you Grandpa. Oh my little mouth is so sweet. It's stronger than your mother. When your mother was a child, she would grab anyone who had something delicious, and if she couldn't grab it, she would pull me to grab it. Oh, Dad, why did you tell Daodu that? Huh, you're still afraid of me talking. There's a boy in the village who's about your age, who didn't get beaten by you when he was a child. Shi Kun is a bit awkward. She has a strong personality and follows her father. Uncle Shi, your son. Law is here. He has taken a lot of things. The young man who came in to deliver the message, what he said. Shi Kun and his parents were stunned. But I will also go out and take a look soon. Shi Kun hugged Daodu and went out together. Daodu still held 2 peanuts in his hand that he couldn't bear to eat. Li Chen came to Gezhuang based on his past memories and watched the village with a strong sense of time along the way. The adobe houses, the villagers are all dressed in gray and blue. Occasionally, women wearing red clothes appear. Once you enter the village, people who know you greet you. Li Chen quickly helped the car with one hand and held a cigarette with the other. Let everyone hold it by hand. On the back seat of my car, there are things all over the handlebars. I really can't park my own car. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 009. A good daughter and a beautiful wife. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Look at the man who gave cigarettes to Li Chen and greeted him. Quickly rubbed his hand against himself, and then carefully took out a cigarette from Li Chen's cigarette box. Then I smelled it and put it on my ear. Then follow Li Chen towards Shikuan's house. In no time, 7 or 8 people followed. Li Chen also scattered smoke for everyone one by one. Everyone quickly thanks Li Chen, praising the city people for being polite. Everyone was talking to Li Chen while looking at his bicycle. I am obedient, sitting in the back seat, with white noodles, pork, and wine. On the handlebar, there are still 2 cigarettes in the basket. Below the cigarettes are white eggs, and on the other side, there is a package of things. This big package must be a good thing. The son-in-law of the old Shi family is really not bad. It is rumored that the daughter of the old Shi family has not returned well in the city recently, so it must be nonsense. This thing doesn't even have so many during the Chinese New Year. Dad. Upon hearing the cry, Li Chen couldn't help but shed tears in her eyes. My own body, as well as the obsession of my predecessor. Shikuan also shed tears. Daodu saw her mother crying, and she followed suit. Dad, give you peanuts to eat. Dodo wiped her tears and took out the 2 peanuts that Grandpa gave her. Daodu is so well behaved. Dad has brought you a lot of delicious food, and there's also a little tiger. You should keep an eye on it, don't let it bite people. Does that little tiger bite beans? Daodu is so good, it definitely doesn't bite Daodu. It listens to Daodu the most. Thank you, Dad. I miss you so much, and Mom misses you too. She always cries at night. Daodu's words made Li Chen's heart ache hard. I can't distinguish whether it's my predecessor's obsession or my own feelings. Looking at my emaciated wife and frail daughter, it really hurts in my heart. Alright, let's go home and talk. Why are you bringing so many things? Hee, Dad. My work has been going smoothly lately. There are rewards and gifts from others. Shikuan and Dodo have been with you recently. Could you please bring something to show respect to your 2 elders? Well, let's go home first. Shikuan's father watched as Li Chen delivered some wine. I am very happy in my heart. My own vision is right. I took a liking to this kid at a glance back then. Sure enough, you read it right. Shikuan was a bit surprised, how could Li Chen say so? Previously, when speaking, it was just a few words, expressing oneself clearly was enough, and there were few polite words. In the distance, Shikuan's sister-in-law and Shikuan's older brother's eyes turned red when they saw something on Li Chen's bicycle. He kept rushing around with Shikuan's elder brother, Shilin, to his mother-in-law's house, to see if he could make some progress. But Shilin dare not go, afraid that his father will beat him up. His father wouldn't give him face. The village chief's son Guzi and matchmaker who were also watching from a distance, sighing. The 2 of them looked greedily at the things on Li Chen's car and left. Shikuan's father doesn't like him, and he's also afraid of him. His father is the village chief. Everyone tells him to stay away from Shikuan's father when he sees him. Because of those terrible things he didn't even have the face to say after being beaten. I entered the house and smoked for everyone. The women and children also scattered some sugar. Everyone left, and the smoke and sugar they sent out made Shirmu feel heartbroken. Wow, tomatoes on sticks, what is this, and this, little tiger, my little tiger. A cloth bag was opened, and the contents inside looked at Dodo with gleaming eyes. Just carried the little tiger into my arms. How much money did you spend? Where did you get the money? Li Chen listened to his daughter-in-law's questioning and felt a bit wilted habitually. It seems that my predecessor was very afraid of his wife. I went into the mountainous area to make a purchase and got lost. As a result, I found a wild pond. There were many fish inside, including big ones. I made several trips and sold over 100. Upon hearing Li Chen's words, Shikuan opened his mouth in surprise. Well, Chen is a blessed person. It's not something that ordinary people can encounter. Stop saying that. Don't tell anyone. They will have red eyes. Chen, have a good drink with me tonight. Okay. The old couple went out and also brought out the beans. Let the young couple gather well. No one left. Chen quickly came over to check if there were any injuries on Li Chen's body. Li Chen also found that his wife was even more beautiful than he remembered, with a pair of beautiful big eyes. Dowda looks like herself, but her eyes are like her mother. In my memory, Dowdu has beautiful eyes. When I was young, my eyes were like two big Dowdu, so my nickname was Dowdu. My wife becomes more and more interesting as she looks at her, not comparable to someone like Qin Huairu who is charming and her eyes are flustered. There is no comparability between the two. Did they bully you? Those people are really nothing. Chen spoke, tears swirling in his eyes. Those beasts are definitely not idle. But they have been punished. Chen was a bit surprised at Li Chen's words and quickly asked what was going on. Last night, the deaf old lady was beaten by someone. She was quite injured. Today, Yi Zhonghai brought the police and Director Wang of the street to come. I directly told Director Wang about their plan to jointly occupy our house. But Yi Zhonghai refused to admit it. That old fox will also be punished sooner or later. That old lady really deserves it. Even a well-behaved child like Dowdu is falsely accused. Chen heard that the deaf old lady had been beaten, and his heart was also very happy. But Yi Zhonghai, an old fox, is not easy to sue. That guy is too cunning. Wife, don't worry. I haven't finished speaking yet. Then you speak quickly. Chen became anxious, scratching Li Chen with one hand. Li Chen thought to himself that his wife is really impatient. Yi Zhonghai, the old fox, refused to admit it, but her accomplice jumped in. Jia Zhongshi admitted, and both Jia Dongxu and Yi Zhonghai were taken to the police station. Yi Zhonghai also went to the police station, but the old fox is expected to break free soon and shift all responsibility onto the Jia family. Chen was very happy to hear it. Rubbing Li Chen's face with both hands happily. Also let Li Chen hold her. When Chen was happy in his memory, he let Li Chen hold her. Li Chen picked her up and placed her on his lap. Director Wang has cancelled Mr. Yi Zhonghai's identity and Mr. Lu Haizhong's status has also been temporarily cancelled. Only Yan Bugui is temporarily in charge of the courtyard. His 10 yuan has also been paid back, and the garbage left at the entrance of my kitchen in Lu Haizhong's house has been cleaned up. Great. Chen happily kissed Li Chen. Li Chen is a bit embarrassed. Yo, I haven't seen you for a few days. I'm sorry, I've noticed that you've changed a lot. It seems like you've also gained strength. Your mental state is also better. Is it because I'm not here? You're doing better. It seems we can't stay together anymore. Let's just part ways. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th. Chapter 010. The Calculation of Animals. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Li Chen was very satisfied with Chen straightforward personality. But at this time, you can't speak recklessly. In my memory, my wife was a mother tiger. Li Chen, strength 7 to 9, stamina 8 to 12, spirit 15 to 18. Skills, basic combat skills, basic culinary skills. In the afternoon, through the feedback of space, my 3-dimensional dimensions have increased again. Law, don't talk nonsense. I will become stronger and stronger in the future. I got lost in the mountains, met a master, and even became his teacher. Teach me martial arts, and I will practice martial arts for a long time in the future, and my strength will become stronger and stronger. I will also teach you when I have time. My master also taught me cooking. Siheyuan's surprised little mouth widened. Li Chen looked at his lovely wife and kissed her directly. Siheyuan had already thought about it and also catered to Li Chen. Oh my, I didn't see anything. Dodo entered the room and went out with her small hands covering her eyes, but she covered her face and didn't cover her big eyes at all. Li Chenchikan felt helpless about this petty person. The two can only wait at night. Siheyuan was a bit anxious, she had already felt Li Chen's reaction. She is naturally impatient, but there is nothing she can do even if she is in a hurry. In the evening, Li Chen's brother-in-law Siheyuan returned from school. Surprisingly, he brought back a Crucian carp. Shout Dowdu before you even enter the house. Siheyuan is in the first year of junior high school and will soon be in the second year. It's 13 this year. Watching his brother-in-law covered in mud, Li Chen felt very uncomfortable in his heart. Uncle, come quickly. I've left you a lot of delicious food. My brother-in-law is here, that's great. I just caught a fish. Wash up quickly, your brother-in-law has brought you a lot of food. Siheyuan looked at his younger brother with heartache, looking for food for Dowdu. Catch fish and sparrows every day. I often scratch my hands and legs. After washing, Siheyuan looked at so many delicious things and seemed to be dreaming. When Li Chen gave him a pen and a bottle of ink, I jumped up with joy. Thank you brother-in-law, hero pen. That's great. Study hard and go to college. My brother-in-law supports you. Don't worry, your future tuition will be paid by my brother-in-law. Really? Brother-in-law. Really? Siheyuan looked at the promise given by Li Chen with tears in his eyes. Father Shi was smoking the cigarette given by Li Chen, feeling very relieved. Shi Mu wiped away tears of joy. Once upon a time, my daughter was unmarried and I felt heartbroken about her. Afraid that she would suffer injustice when she arrived at her husband's house, her temper started to beat up her husband's house. My daughter follows her father, her eyes are full of sand. Now it's good to find this uncle. It's really nice. However, I still feel worried about those people in his courtyard. During the meal, Li Chen talked about the situation in his courtyard. Everyone felt relieved after listening to it. Li Chen arranged for Siheyuan and Dodo not to go back for now. I have to go to the mountains to make purchases myself, and in addition, I have to meet my master to learn martial arts and cooking skills. After waiting for a while. After finishing their own work, the police and the street have dealt with the affairs in the courtyard. The two of them will go back. I heard that Li Chen is going to practice martial arts and cooking. Everyone was confused for a moment, but they didn't ask. Siheyuan wants to learn martial arts, but Li Chen said he has the opportunity to teach him. When Li Chen was enjoying himself at his wife's house. The courtyard is filled with flying chickens and dogs. Silly Zhu returned to the courtyard and shouted to clean up Li Chen. Watching Li Chen lock the door, he kicked it open. I even went inside and flipped through the house. Bang Ji followed behind him and swaggered, even peeing inside the house. Yen Bugue was calculating gains and losses outside, without speaking. Looking at the Bangs gloating. Yi Zhonghai has returned, and he has pushed everything to the Jia family, but the police have no choice. Because even if he gets the house, Yi Zhonghai has no interest. There's nothing we can do about him, but the street definitely can't let him be the master of the courtyard. Su Damao has also returned and heard about the situation in the courtyard. He didn't say much. But when I heard that Jia Zhang and Jia Dongxu had been arrested, I thought to myself if I had a chance tonight. Although Qin Huairu is pregnant, she can still play. Pregnant, some places are even fuller. He is full of experience. He scanned Qin Huairu back and forth with his eyes, but when he saw Qin Huairu looking over, he immediately took it back. He is not afraid of Qin Huairu, but he is afraid of that fool Zhu fighting against him. If only the fool had gone in too. Yi Zhonghai called out silly Zhu, and also called Lu Haizhong, Yan Bugui, and Qin Huairu to his own home. He didn't call Su Dumao because Su Dumao was too smooth, cunning, and bad. Now, the old lady is sober, but very weak and can't say a few words. She also doesn't know who did it. She knows that the other party did it very harshly. The police have looked at the scene and found that the culprit climbed over the wall into the courtyard. It is still under investigation. The old lady needs a long time to recover. It is now a matter of the Jia family mother and son, and Li Chen's forgiveness letter is needed. What do you think? Hey, what else can you think? Let him come out, don't come out and kill him. Stupid Zhu always arrogantly and domineeringly. Tell me to do it directly. This Li Chen is talking nonsense in front of the street director Wang and the police. We must discipline him severely, otherwise this courtyard will be in chaos. Lu Haizhong spoke. He lost his status as a grand master in the courtyard and felt very angry in his heart. In his eyes, the grand master is at least an official. The only official is gone, he's going crazy with anger, and he's not in the mood to eat the scrambled eggs at night. Yan Bugui's small eyes were wandering and he did not express any opinion. Qin Huairu had a sorrowful and pitiful expression on her face. It makes everyone very distressed. Silly Zhu felt even more heartbroken upon seeing it, and even in his dreams, he wanted to hold her in his arms and comfort her. Pillar, please be a little more careful not to let Li Chen get the evidence. When Li Chen comes back, let me know and everyone will go together. I hope some people won't be too careful, the old lady hasn't died yet. Yi Zhonghai's words, of course, are aimed at Yan Bugui. Yan Bugui awkwardly smiled and didn't speak. After the meeting, silly Zhu went to the backyard for another inspection. And he also looked at the house of the deaf old lady, refusing to let anyone in. Li Chen never came back, and the foolish pillar angrily kicked Li Chen's door to pieces. Bang Gung even went to Li Chen's bed and pooped. Make silly Zhu laugh and boast about the power of the stick. Yi Zhonghai feels a bit bad, but thinking about the consequences, this fool will bear it. Just ignore it. Li Chen must be forced to rescue his elderly care. Qin Huairu was a bit worried about the appearance of Bang Ji, but considering that Bang Ji was a child, Li Chen probably wouldn't argue with him. It shouldn't be a big deal, and the police shouldn't mind either. So there was no management involved. Qingming outing and happy reading. Charge 100 and get 500 VIP coupons. Immediate recharge, activity period. April 4th to April 6th.